Netanyahu went on Face the Nation today and defended the strikes on Gaza. Now, you might be asking yourself, like, why the f is the leader of Israel, who should be in jail right now because he's been dodging criminal charges, who literally should not be able to travel freely to even the UK right now? Like, Netanyahu has to fly straight up from Israel to the United States. If he touches any other country's soil, he should be arrested immediately. He is a war criminal, like Kissinger not being able to go to like Malaysia. You know what I mean? Because we are genocidal, bloodthirsty freaks. Of course, we are going to allow Netanyahu to come in and do his propaganda. Of course that's going to happen. Look at this. Look at this coverage, dude. The American media is so disgusting. So disgusting. Where they just have like Netanyahu come in and do propaganda. Literally as the rubble of international media. It hasn't even dried up yet. You know what I mean? There's still like literal rubble. The rubble is still heated from the rocket fire. And 2 days later, after they blew up the building, which had Al Jazeera and AP, Middle East Eye, and numerous other media outlets that have been there for 15 days, Netanyahu goes on Face the Nation, dude. Disgusting. 15 years. Yeah, wait, what did I say? Did I say 15 days? My bad. Let's get to Netanyahu defending the strikes on Gaza. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Good morning.
I want to start with yesterday was the worst clash in this 7-day conflict. The last one of a similar sort in 2014 lasted 6 weeks. How much longer are these hostilities going to continue?
Well, we hope that it doesn't continue very long, but we were attacked by Hamas on our National Day, Jerusalem Day, unprovoked attacks on Jerusalem.
Question, unprovoked attacks? That's a lie. What is Jerusalem Day? What happens on Jerusalem Day? What is the flag parade that occurs on Jerusalem Day? Why are you lying and saying it's unprovoked? Did any Palestinian Authority or Hamas reach out about the actions that the IDF was taking at the Al-Aqsa Mosque? If so, why did you not respond? Anyway, let's just keep going.
2,900 rockets fired on Hamas, according to fired from Hamas, according to one report. But there's also a report that Egypt offered a truce. Hamas said yes. You said no. Why?
Well, that's not what I know. And frankly, if Hamas thought that they could just fire on our rockets and then sit back and enjoy immunity, that's false. We are targeting a terrorist organization that is targeting our civilians and hiding behind their civilians, using them as human shields. We're doing everything we can to hit the terrorists themselves, their rockets, their rocket caches, and their arms, but we're not going to just let them get away with it. Neither would you. I mean, you just imagine what would have happened if...
I wonder if CBS's Face the Nation will ask the question to Netanyahu about, was there acts of aggression towards Palestinians ahead of time in the West Bank, which has nothing to do with Hamas regardless, even though Hamas made what I literally will say with my entire chest, absolutely reasonable demands. Doesn't matter that Hamas has anti-Semites within its organization, or they want to wipe out all Jews, or whatever the fuck they say. In that circumstance, their demands before their threat was stop beating the shit out of mosque goers in Al-Aqsa and allow Palestinians to travel to the mosque during Ramadan. That is ridiculous to not do that and instead say fuck you and continue doing that, and then turning around and being like they're human shields, blah blah blah, like all this shit is terrible. But Bibi Netanyahu is a disgusting piece of shit who has in the past said that children are telegenically dead, the children that die in the hands of Israeli bombs and sniper rifle fire, where they're telegenically dead.
The precision of that targeting has been up for question. There's been a lot of focus on the bombing on Saturday in Gaza of a building that housed the Associated Press and Al Jazeera. The Committee to Protect Journalists demanded detailed and documented justification. This morning, there's a Jerusalem Post story that says the Americans were shown a smoking gun, that proof that Hamas was in that building. What is that proof? And did you show it to the Americans?
Well, we share it with our American friends, all that intelligence. And here's the intelligence we had. It's about Palestinian terrorist, an intelligence office for the Palestinian terrorist organization housed in that building that plots and organizes the terror attacks against Israeli civilians. So it's a perfectly legitimate target.
Anytime Israel decides to bomb something, whether it's in the Gaza Strip or whether it's like Lebanese hospitals and shit or the Red Cross, Hamas always is there despite the fact that time and time again, they have never proven their position that Hamas is there. And as a matter of fact, been disproven over and over again that Hamas was not there. But it doesn't matter, because the moment that you say Hamas is there, all of the dumb motherfuckers in every fucking community, even in my chat, they're like, oh, well, Hamas was there. They say he was there, so why don't you trust them? Why would I trust someone who has routinely lied over and over and over again about the existence of Hamas and bombing targets that suspiciously happen to be located in every important infrastructure part of the most densely populated area, where literally the overwhelming majority of fucking casualties are still civilian? And this is the IDF's conservative estimations. A lot of them are children too, by the way, because the Gazan population is remarkably young. The median age in Gaza is 18. The average age worldwide is 28. So just remember that. I wonder what happened to all the old people. Anyway, so you're basically, the idea is just like bombing a fucking densely populated area of children. A lot of people don't know that the Gaza is like just straight up fucking children.
And I can tell you that we took every precaution to make sure that there were no civilian injuries. In fact, no deaths, no injuries whatsoever. Well, I can't say injuries. I don't know if somebody received a fragment of a stone. I don't know that. But no people were killed. Now imagine, ask yourself, how is that possible? You see these high-rise towers that are used by Hamas over and over again. They collapse and no one is killed. Why does that happen?
Wait, is he just straight up saying not a single person died? Bro, this is disgusting, dude. What a fucking scumbag, dude. Yo, why is there even a Palestinian flag here in your, Super Bowl style Middle Eastern crisis coverage? You literally are having the war criminal who should be under the fucking jail come and just lie on your broadcast. That's disgusting, dude. Who died in the media tower? Didn't they get 1 hour to evacuate? Oh shit, I'm sorry, dude. Next time, if I want to bomb your fucking parents' house, I'll tell you an hour ahead of time, and then I'll bomb your fucking parents' house. And then you can call me up on the phone like the guy who owns the building did and beg and plead to give me 10 more minutes so I can get all my memorabilia out of my house. Get my dog out of the house, or get the shit that I care about out of the house, like the important things. And I say, nah, fuck off. I'm bombing you right now. Click, hang up. As long as I give a warning, that should be all right, right?
Because we, unlike Hamas, take special precautions to tell people, leave the building, leave the premises. We make sure that everyone is gone before we bring down those terrorist facilities. And that's the difference between Israel and Hamas. They deliberately target our cities, deliberately target our civilians. They glorify the death of children and civilians and old people. They are happy with it. I think they're happy with any deaths that are caused to them. We grieve for every non-combatant loss in Gaza, and we grieve for all our civilians who die in Israel. We're not happy with it, and we try to minimize it.
I want to get to minimizing those casualties, but you spoke with President Biden yesterday. It's inconceivable you would have talked.
Wow, nothing. No pushback on no one is dying. No pushback on injuries. No pushback on the Associated Press demanded some proof, which he completely deflected away from. Great journalism there, dude. What the fuck is this dipshit's name? No question as to why Bibi Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders have said no to a ceasefire until Gaza and Palestinians as a whole have come to a permanent quiet end or some shit. Wait, what did they say? The bombing will not stop until there is relentless silence from Gaza. Disgusting, dude. Absolutely fucking pathetic display. God damn it, dude.
Biden yesterday, it's inconceivable you would have talked to him and not shared proof of Hamas in those buildings that housed the journalists. Did you share that with him?
Well, we pass it through the intelligence services to our people, to those people. Why do you think we brought down that building? The interesting thing is, I would say that, all the journalists, one of the, I think, AP journalists said, we were lucky to get out. No, you weren't lucky to get out. It wasn't luck. It's because we took special pains to call people in those buildings to make sure that the premises were vacated. And that's why we brought down that building. And look,
that's the only angle that you're going to tackle it? Like, oh, Joe Biden didn't tell you? Joe Biden told you not to reveal the secrets? Come on, just give me something. Just say the justification is that, it's an intelligence asset and you can't reveal it, right? Come on, right? That's great, dude. Biden admin didn't confirm anything. Just asked the Biden admin if they could confirm Israel's claim that it shared intelligence showing Hamas operate in the same building as Associated Press. Their response, no comment. Thank you for reaching out, but we have no comment. I love this take, by the way. How is this anything but a threat? This motherfucker is just straight up like, no, you got out because we told you. Like, that's a threat, dude. That's literally a threat. That's just like, next time, maybe we won't tell you, motherfuckers. Hey, sorry, we're going to keep doing war crimes, and there's nothing you can do about it. That is insanity.
And in this case, with 181 Palestinians dead, 52 of them children, there's significant criticism. Amnesty International has asked the International Criminal Court to look into a refugee camp attack. The UN is meeting today. Foreign ministers of the EU are meeting. And the response has been like this one from the foreign minister of Ireland. Israel has international legal obligation to protect children in conflict and are not doing so.
That's just a false. I mean, the reason we have these casualties is because Hamas is criminally attacking us from civilian neighborhoods, from schools, from homes, from office buildings. That's what they're doing. And we're taking action, trying to...
But like, you're not taking the utmost care and consideration because you're killing children. You're still killing children. You're not killing Hamas. You're killing children. I want that to be known one more time. You keep killing just overwhelmingly civilians, women and children. A big chunk of that being women and children. You're not killing Hamas.
Target them with as great precision as we can. Unfortunately, there are occasionally civilian casualties, which we regret. But here's what happens. When the international community attacks Israel, they're actually encouraging Hamas to continue these attacks because Hamas says, it's great. We're both killing Israeli civilians and unfortunately some of ours, and they're happy with their own civilian casualties because it gets that the international community to focus their attacks on Israel instead of Hamas. That's wrong. Sure. It's both wrong.
Yeah, the international community loves attacking Israel instead of Hamas, which is precisely why they have allowed you to come right now on this channel and spread ridiculous fucking lies over and over and over again with no pushback whatsoever.
And unproductive, because actually what it does is prolong the conflict and escalate and increase the number of casualties that that happen as a result of the continuation of the conflict.
The question is whether Israel is meeting its extra burden in responding to these rocket attacks from Hamas.
You certainly are. And I can tell you that there have been many studies by serious military analysts who have compared Israel's actions with that of other Western armies in similar situations fighting radical Islamists, whether it's in Iraq or in Afghanistan or elsewhere. And you know how prolonged those conflicts are, how many casualties are caused. So I think there has to be a measure of fairness. There has to be a measure of reasonableness in projecting this kind of criticism against the Israeli army that is second to none in seeking to minimize civilian casualties while protecting our own civilians. You know, if Hamas would simply move these rockets out of the civilian areas, if they move their command posts out of these homes and offices, then there wouldn't be any problem.
Let me ask you, Mr. Prime Minister.
But the fact is, they're sending...
Move him where, by the way? Like, as though... Dude, like where? Motherfucker, everything is reduced to rubble. It's not like they have a lot of real estate to work with, dude. Just move your rockets, Hamas. Just move them into the ocean. Or rather, move them to Egypt so we can justify invading Egypt or something. You know what I mean? Is he saying the Hamas should just move so they can exclusively bomb them? I think that's what he's trying to say. Also, yeah, if you're Hamas, like, why the fuck would you be like, oh yeah, that's right, let's just move over to different areas so, like, they can bomb us easier? Which, by the way, is such a fucking ridiculous conversation that we're having now. We have already forgotten that the original question was, why did you bomb a media agency and then lie about Hamas being there and then not offer any evidence whatsoever and not even respond to the out I gave you by saying, like, come on, Joe Biden told you not to reveal the intelligence assets, right? Come on, just give me a crumb, Netanyahu, anything. Instead, he's just like, yeah, just Hamas, just move your rocket bases, bro. Come on.
Thousands of rockets on our cities with a specific purpose of murdering our civilians from these places.
Let me ask you, Mr.
What would you do?
Let me ask
if it happened to Washington or to New York? You know damn well what you do.
Let me ask you
do at the very least what we're doing.
What the fuck? He's just
in offices, then
bro. The thing is, like, what more do you fucking want? Like, the media doesn't even fucking yell at you. Like, they do everything they can. They bend over backwards to cover Israeli atrocities in the most passive way possible. Like, the New York Times straight up is just like, Palestinians perished. I don't know why, for some inexplicable reason. Some of them were kids, but, you know, who's to say they're really children? I mean, they looked really adult-like, even though they were fucking 13. Also, 5 Israeli citizens were murdered in the hands of Hamas. Like, that's the way that New York Times is covering it. Like, what more do you want? Well, I know what they want. There's a reason why the Israeli Hebrew IDF Instagram account is just showcasing bombing targets and being like, these dogs will be wiped off the planet. And then the Western-facing IDF accounts say things like, here's what you should know about how much the Israelis are under attack right now and what you can do to help and why it's okay. Like, the reason why the propaganda is very different is because you don't need to fucking compel a big chunk of the Israelis who are just like, oh no, they deserve death. They deserve it, obviously. So what Bibi Netanyahu wants, and what a lot of these like psychopathic, reactionary, far-right, ultra-nationalist, Zionist freaks, what they want is for the rest of the world, specifically the Western media, to also use the same kinds of language to be like, these Palestinian dogs deserve death. May God shame on their existence. I spit on them. And of course, here are some bombing targets of schools and other points of infrastructure. And you shouldn't feel bad about it. So that's the real reason why he's mad. It's like, dude, you're crazy. Your criticism of like Western media blows my fucking mind when Western media's coverage of Israel's acts of aggression, acts of war, acts of occupation, acts of dehumanization against Palestinians, all of that is either completely overlooked on purpose, robbed of its context to the point where it's a literal fucking lie, or they straight up have you to come on and lie about it yourself personally, and my man is still fucking crying.
Let me ask you a broader question that was articulated by Senator Bernie Sanders, which is distinct from the clashes over the last week. His argument is that the treatment of the Palestinians is so rough that they are marginalized, demonized in such a fashion that there can never be peace, never be a two-state solution, and that your treatment of the Palestinians outside of this week creates conditions that are always going to lead to this kind of unrest, not just the missile attacks, but the riots you see in cities. What's your response to that?
Well, let's divide it into two. First of all, the Hamas is not attacking us because they're trying to increase the welfare of Palestinians. In fact, they're taking huge sums to build the terror tunnels, which we've been able to neutralize.
Bernie Sanders makes an argument about Palestinian welfare, like of Palestinian citizens. Bibi Netanyahu turns that back to, again, Hamas. Hamas is doing terror tunnels.
To have rockets, missiles, and other armaments. They're not building up Gaza. They're doing everything in their...
Dog, are you fucking stupid? This is one of the most idiotic fucking takes, dude. The first 8 minutes of the conversation literally revolved around you bombing a fucking press building. What are people supposed to do? And honestly, listen, like, again, like, fuck Hamas, which is an Islamist fundamentalist group that the Palestinian people are unfortunately stuck with in Gaza. But if I'm getting fucking shelled every goddamn day, I'm probably not going to build a library so you can bomb it tomorrow. In the process of Bibi Netanyahu explaining away why they have to fucking destroy buildings that are incredibly important for infrastructure and Palestinian welfare, he's like, why aren't you building more buildings? If this stupid fucking journalist wasn't such a dog, he would turn around, maybe ask the question, okay, you talk about the importance of infrastructure for Palestinian welfare. What do you have to say about the hundreds of water wells that your IDF has destroyed that were Palestinian? What about the reality of Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, which is illegal, by the way, and how it takes 15 fucking years for them to actually get Israeli approval to build a sewage system for their own people in their own fucking territory? If you act like you care about infrastructure for the Palestinians, why the fuck won't you leave them alone and let them have this shit? Sorry, This topic brings out the Middle Eastern in me hardcore, which is why I started using dog as an insult. Because in America, dogs are wonderful. In the world, dogs are wonderful. Dogs are beautiful creatures. Much better than Bibi Netanyahu, who is a demon. But it's a very Middle Eastern insult to say someone is a donkey or a dog. Donkey is still like kind of funny, but dog is like worst thing.
Power to turn it into a fortified terror camp in order to destroy Israel. And they openly say that.
Is that why they bombed a fucking United Nations refugee camp in the middle of the fucking night? You know, because their care for infrastructure is the reason why they keep bombing infrastructure. Actually, what you don't understand is that we're bombing those buildings so they can build it back better.
As far as the citizens of Israel or Arabs, I've done more than any other prime minister and spent billions and billions of dollars
doing genocide to Palestinians.
Israeli shekels, and 5 times more than all the previous governments combined, to ensure that our Israeli Arab citizens, all of them, can be part of the Israeli miracle, the great economic success story. I've invested that because I believe in it. I didn't do it now, and I didn't do it for CBS Face the Nation. I really believe in this. There has been a minority, a violent minority that is...
Wait, why is he plugging his election in American news, by the way? I wonder why he gets to go on American national news and then start promoting his own personal agenda, trying to build a coalition and ultimately... continue being the leader of the nation of Israel. That's such a strange thing to do. It's weird. It's weird. Oh, it can't have anything to do with, how closely tied our two nations are and how much influence the Israeli government has on foreign policy decisions in the American government and vice versa. Of course, how much decision-making and sway that sort of propaganda has within America. It's so strange. Great stuff here. What the fuck is he doing? Like, you're just really gonna go and instead of addressing any of the questions the fucking journalist is like even doing or asking, and just be like, yeah, by the way, my love for Israel is so long, and you should vote for me.
Challenge that as well, and to kill
Mr. Prime Minister,
innocent people. I won't tolerate that. Neither Arabs killing Israelis or Jews killing Arabs or Arabs killing Jews.
Let me ask, I want you to respond.
Motherfucker rolled over this little dipshit like a goddamn Israeli bulldozer in the fucking occupied West Bank, dude. Straight up. Just fucking don't care. Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna do my fucking tight 5 now. Oh, I just want to say something. A lot of people make comparisons between Trump and Bibi Netanyahu. No, Netanyahu is worse. If a Netanyahu-like character ever came to power in the United States of America, that would be over. Because Netanyahu is ideologically a fascist, and he's incredibly well-spoken, and he's very fucking smart. So he has Trump's like right-wing nationalism and right-wing populism, but also something significantly more nefarious, an ideological agenda that he truly believes in, which revolves around an ethno-state nation project that can only be met with the complete evisceration and destruction of all Palestinians living in the region. He's fucking terrifying.
One other thing before we go, which is your domestic challenges. You are under investigation for bribery, fraud, breach of trust. You've also had some difficulty, 4 failed attempts to put together a government in the last 23 months. This leads to the criticism that your current actions are basically an effort to stay in power. And what's your response to that?
That's preposterous. When I was a young soldier, 18 years old, I held a fellow soldier who died in my arms. A few years later...
What does that have to do with your corruption, dog? What the fuck? Dude, this is so fucking good, dude. Oh, preposterous to say I'm corrupt. How could you say that? Right after I talked about how I was doing my settler colonialism and my genocidal agenda and how much I love doing it as my mouth watered, I thought we had something going on. Really fucked up. Wow. Can't believe you're saying I am currently corrupt and under investigation and was supposed to get indicted and also convicted and go to jail when I've been a soldier. Kind of fucked up. Fun fact, Netanyahu is only alive right now because of a very old Israeli rule that dictated that special operations could not have 2 brothers operate at the same time on such special operations. His brother died in, what was the country that they went to? It was another war crime. His brother died in an operation, and he was supposed to go on it as well. Speaking of him being a fucking in Uganda, right? Was it in Uganda? Yeah, they made a movie about it one time, and I yelled at the people at the Young Turks that wanted me to do a promotion for it, and I said, the only thing I'll say about this movie, if you want me to say it, is that it was unfortunate that Netanyahu didn't get on that plane as well. Bibi didn't get on that plane as well.
My brother, my older brother, died while leading a rescue mission.
Oh, he's saying it. Oh, that's sorry. I didn't. I wasn't pre-watching. Okay, I what the, please give me sympathy. My brother died in an operation
in Entebbe, Uganda, to release Israeli hostages. I've seen comrades fall. I've seen my brother fall. And I think anybody who knows me knows that I've never, ever subordinated security concerns, the life of our soldiers, the life of our citizens, for political interests. That's just...
Bitch, how does that have anything to do with your corruption charges, dude? I'm sorry that you're saying that I am currently corrupt when my brother died, so...
Hogwash. I'll do what I have to do to protect the lives of Israeli citizens and to restore peace. I've made peace with 4 Arab countries. I'm glad that we have a restoration.
Yeah, I made peace with 4 Arab countries, dude. Come on. Like, why don't we get to do genocide on Arabs now? Come on, bro.
Of some considerable calm within Israel. That's my goal, to restore peace and quiet and to assure tranquility and reconciliation for all.
But this is a persistent criticism, Mr. Prime Minister. Why do you think it persists?
It persists because I've been reelected 5 times. It persists because I beat every other candidate in public polls and in direct election simulations. Apparently, the people of Israel, the majority, don't agree with this false criticism and this
literal Trump. Like, if he were to turn around and be like, I'm the most innocent leader of the wonderful country of Israel, the least innocent. Come on, the people keep voting for me. It's like, oh yeah, is that why you're having a hard time forming a fucking government? 4 tries in 2 years doesn't seem too great. I'm just saying, like, it kind of feels like you're not that popular, and low key would go so far as to increase the stress on your never-ending genocidal Palestinian campaign of occupation. I reported your stream for hate speech, but I know you're not going to get banned because Twitch staff selectively enforces the rules. They ban Trump, but they don't ban you. You threaten chatter and engage in anti-Semitic propaganda. I want to know what he thinks is anti-Semitic propaganda. Don't ban him. Account created 37 minutes ago, following since 36 minutes ago. I wonder what he considers to be anti-Semitic propaganda. Anyway, let's keep going.
They know that I'm standing
He
there
replied,
for
what'd he
Israel,
say?
and I'm doing everything I can
Hold
for
on.
the safety and prosperity of the Israeli people. By the way, all of Israel.
I know you're not going to get banned because you have a custom contract with Twitch. You encourage violence against police and businesses. Twitch let you do it. Keemstar has all your clips, by the way. Good luck. Oh, this is the Keemstar guy. This is the Keemstar fan. I think that's probably the most embarrassing part about what he's saying. I remember this guy. I've banned him a bunch of times. He might have literally been banned like 42 times. You know what I mean?
Citizens, Jews and Arabs alike.
All right, Mr. Prime Minister, we're out of time. Thanks so much for being with us.
I think the most embarrassing thing that dude does is that he admits that he's a Keemstar fan over and over again. It's like a permanent fucking L, dude.
Texted you that.
Mm-hmm. Dude, thank God there's like fucking Muslim fighters, so Joe Rogan has like at least knowledge of what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, because if it wasn't for like Khabib and other like Muslim fighters, like Joe would just have no fucking clue.